Meeting to order. Welcome everybody. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions to the agenda. You want to read off what you've got? See if I have the same ones.
We do that.
We do.
Let's see. We have an executive session
Right?
regarding
Dog issue.
a dog issue. We have setting the tax rate, and we also have signing off on the grand list. I can't remember the name of the form.
It's a certificate of no appeal or suit pending.
Was that it?
That's all I had.
Okay, that sounds right.
What?
Nothing. We're adding the setting of the tax rate on an agenda that wasn't posted.
Right.
Okay.
That's not cool.
I don't like that.
Yeah. It's,
Are we time limited? Does this have to be done by X date?
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately. That's the only reason, otherwise
Okay.
I would have delayed.
No, it's not you. It's fine. Thank you.
okay. Do I have a motion to add those to the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? I vote.
Aye.
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 I'm an aye, the motion carries. I have no remarks except I'm very thankful that our town has fared so well during this flood season and feel for those who did not. Open public comment for items not on the agenda. And there don't seem to be any. And David's just walking through the door. You are up, sir.
Right now,
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect.
everything's been going good. I got culvert ordered that we gotta replace, which will just about do my budget for the culvert.
Where's that at?
Pond Road, right at Chris' house.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. Yep. And paving's all done. I turned all the paperwork in to try to get some reimbursement,
That was a nice job they did up there too.
Very nice.
so. Guess that's about it.
Thanks for your good ditching.
Your truck, you got your truck?
Which one?
Your new one?
Pickup?
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't seen you driving it. I saw
No,
you
we've
driving
been
the
throwing
old
everything
one.
in the old one.
Up at the emergency generator project.
What's that?
Up at the emergency generator project. Any idea?
I'm waiting for a call back to find out when they're gonna set the pole.
Okay.
Just one other comment, and I made it earlier. That Broadbrook project down on Franklin Road, that worked exactly as it should have, so they did a nice
Yep.
job with that.
Yep, so far.
Are we gonna line strike any, or at least center line the road?
If I have money left over from last year's budget, we'll get Title Hill.
I think that if you don't, just look at other ways, liability wise.
Okay. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Town admin report.
Alright, so the emergency management generator, I had to send a rescope review to be done on January 21st. Once we did the measuring for the gas tank, we realized it has to be buried. And so we're waiting on FEMA for that. So the project right now is at a standstill as far as moving forward, other than putting in the conduit. Outdoor recreation master plan, the survey was closed out Monday. We had a handful of paper surveys that were collected and came back, and those are being entered. So we had 80 participants online, which is really good. And I hope to have the final report from the survey this week, and then we'll have a committee meeting and have a discussion with the consultant, and soon hopefully he'll be able to compose his report for the master plan, and then we'll have a presentation for the board, and we'll have one more public meeting to present it to the residents. The MERP, which is the Municipal Energy Resilience Program, has finally put out the applications for their mini grants. So the grants are for $4,000, and this is to do energy audits on municipal buildings which is the precursor for the larger grant that comes in the amount of up to $500,000 to actually install and implement these efficiencies and upgrades and improvements that would need to be done. However, it would only be for one building. So we could do the energy audits, and then it would be up to the board to decide which building's gonna get the grant money for the upgrades. So I would like to submit an application on behalf of the town, and I'd like to do it for all the town buildings. I'd like to list them all and get as many as I can for that. So I have that, I'd like to move forward. In Northfield, Massachusetts, we'll be hosting a parade and a 350th birthday celebration. I'm not sure if anybody else had received any invitations. However, they're inviting all neighboring communities to participate in their parade and entering floats, antique vehicles, emergency service vehicles, tractors, or marching units. If anyone is interested in participating, please let me know. I have contact information for the parade committee. And I'm currently working on and reviewing all of the town policies and ordinances to be updated. So if you have anything that sticks out or you feel needs to be updated sooner than later, I'm going over just some of them. And I'm just gonna look at the modern ones and do some comparisons and try to divide and conquer the ones that need it the most. So. that's what
Does
I'm
that
looking at.
include financial policies?
Everything. I'm looking at everything. That's all I know, is exciting.
Thank you. Tom's very excited, especially for the last part. Okay, minute approval?
Yes, I move to be accepted as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jim?
Abstain.
Abstain, and I'm an aye. Okay, warrant.
Alrighty. I move that we approve payment of the following warrant. 2T accounts payable, $469,603.40, which includes our paving of Tyler Hill. 27S payroll, $12,190.22. 28S payroll, $12,598.19. Do you want these together, or should they be separate? Okay, and also ratify 25T accounts payable, $15,079.23. That was our final warrant. 1T accounts payable, $135,588.53. 25S payroll, $14,966.24. And 26S payroll, $14,249.18.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
I'm an aye. New business. Tim?
Good evening, members of the board, Madam Chairman. A couple of items from my office coming to your attention. One is the annual request to attend the Vermont Municipal Clerk Treasurers Association Conference, which this year will be in Montpelier on the 14th and 15th of September. I am requesting being away from the office late afternoon on the 13th and all day on the 14th for that purpose. What's that? This is something that I would need board approval on.
Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Have fun.
Thank you. And before my other item, I would just want to tell you that my new assistant clerk, Heidi Johnson Clement, started Monday, and we are rapidly training her to make sure that she's up to speed and will keep the office open during my vacation. My other item is approval of a cemetery deed for North Cemetery for Pauline and Warren Clark. One lot plus cornerstones, total of $350.
we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving and signing this deed?
Aye.
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 Aye. You've approved it?
Wait, and I'll just pass this around for the board's signatures.
Okay, while we're signing, there's a request for signage to identify the Vernon Townline. I believe that you have a letter on that in your packet. And that's for Broadbrook Road. What is your pleasure?
Was there everyone out there? No.
We could be inviting trouble. They'll be all on us.
Yeah.
To mark where the town line is?
If you're gonna dump something, where would you dump it?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, where they dumped it the last time was right beside a house. So now we're gonna put a marker up and show that it's empty here at the turnaround.
Wouldn't you have to do
Elmhurst
a
Road.
bounds walk with the neighboring town too, to agree on the boundary?
Well, Danny and I agreed right where it is.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's right where we maintain it too.
Madam Chair, I move we table this to another time.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Mike?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
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 Okay, Dropbox. Shelley, you want to
Okay.
do this?
So, I'd like to make the suggestion of installing a Dropbox to hopefully alleviate people going to the treasurer's door, especially in inclement weather. She's constantly opening her door when tax bills are due, letting the heat out. I'm very concerned with people's safety going up those stairs, as well as in front of her door where it can be icy. It's not a good situation. Otherwise, they'd be coming through the building. And the last proposal I had was to put in a service window indoor, and it wasn't approved, and that was fine. So I'm just trying to find a
Yeah.
solution. And then when I had asked her why she has so much foot traffic, she informed me that most people don't want to drop anything in the Dropbox because it's not secure and they feel that someone could fish out envelopes. And so then I was looking at a more secure Dropbox to try to make it more convenient for the residents, put it at the front of the building. And the box would be inside the building, as well as staff. I mean, otherwise everyone's gonna have to, in inclement weather, come through the building just to hand off an envelope, which doesn't make sense either. So unless anybody has another suggestion, that's what I came up with.
I think you're gonna get the certain people to want to physically hand it to her. You're not gonna change any of them, that's why they've done it their whole lives, and they're probably gonna continue to do it that way.
That's why I figured I'd present it and see what everyone's thoughts were, because you know this community better than I do,
no,
and you know
agree.
folks better than I do.
Things, and certain people use it, certain people not, but I know I've heard a lot of people do not like that they cannot walk into their own building to pay their property tax.
No, that's fine. It's just some people feel that it's not safe to leave it in the Dropbox, and that's
Oh.
what I had got from it. But if people still want to walk through the building, that's fine. It's up to the board. It was just a suggestion, just trying to come up with a solution.
So, I mean, the door down the hallway is locked, so that means somebody's gotta,
Buzz them in, yeah. Tim's gonna have to buzz them in.
I see all the traffic and there's a
I know.
lot of traffic.
I know, I'm just trying to
I
figure out
know,
what's best for
I'm not
everybody.
sure that's.
The treasurer does meet with the public when she needs to though, correct?
Which is a rare occasion from what she says.
Yes, Linda.
I lived here since 1994. We always walked in the front door, down through to the treasurer. She had a half door. What happened? COVID, and then now there's no COVID, so why aren't we back to where we used to be? She's a public servant, paid by taxpayers. And I like her. She's always been good to me, but I leave mine out in the drop box out front. I've never had it not be there on time, never had it not processed. But I can understand, I know my husband was like, how do we know somebody's not sticking something down in there and fishing it out? So I understand what you're saying, but I also don't understand why we can't walk through this building we're paying for.
It's a town office.
Right.
I'm,
Everybody has doors. If they don't want to see anybody, they can keep their doors closed.
yeah.
The library has doors, the listers have doors, the town clerk has doors, the administrator has doors. So, you know, I don't understand.
Tom,
I move that we table this.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor, Michael,
Aye.
Brandon, Tom,
Aye.
Jim.
Not really, but I'm outnumbered.
Would you like to discuss it longer?
No, I just like tabling it and
Just
what are you
pushes it
gonna
down the
do?
road.
What's the solution gonna
I don't
be?
think we need to
What?
make any changes.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
That's your
Is
point?
this coming from the treasurer or is this
No,
coming from?
I have a concern with people coming to the outside door. You know, if they come through, that's fine, but if they don't feel they need to come through just because they're not comfortable dropping it off, I have no problem with people going through, but some people just aren't comfortable dropping it in that drop box. So I was just trying to give another option.
You could put a woven basket on the front of the office, of the clerk's office, and they can drop it in there.
I thought of that
I
as well.
knew that, that's why I said
Do we have
woven.
a camera on that box outside?
Not on the box, but there is a camera out front. There is. I was just looking
So-
for something with a, more secure feature.
Yeah.
I completely understand, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think about everything.
I know.
And just, you could make people feel better by saying, anybody that pulls in or out, or walks in and out of the area, you can at least see them on camera.
And we
correct?
have the security emblem right there on the front door. So people know that we do have a security system, and it's pretty big, you can't miss.
Yeah, I'm not a.
So,
What's the treasurer's 2 cents on this? I mean, what does she think?
well, I don't think she cares either way, but my concern is in the wintertime, I don't like the idea of people coming up the stairs and coming in her door, opening it constantly. I'd rather have them come through the building, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to figure a way to give people more options so that, the ones who do want to come in the building and come through, there's just a few less people who have the option to drop it off if that's what they want to do.
I appreciate the effort you put in, I do, and I understand the need, but I understand the reason why, but I just don't think we need to do that right now.
I think we should take up Linda's concern too sometime. It
Yeah.
seems, I keep hearing that around town.
Yeah, that's,
Do what?
Linda's concern, I keep hearing around town.
I'm getting in the building?
yeah, just access to the building
Yeah.
as a taxpayer.
Yeah,
I mean, the lobby has a lock, well, the hallway has a locked door on it now, and, I mean, would
Tim
you
has-
just leave that open for the day, or what?
Tim has a
Well, it
buzzer.
used to be.
He can just buzz people in. It's right on his desk.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Into the treasurer's office, not into.
No,
Into the hallway. He
hallway.
can just buzz people in and they can just come in.
Right, you
Yeah.
can go right through if they buzz you.
Yep.
Oh, into
absolutely.
in his hallway, not in the main
Yep, they just need to
foyer.
come to the window and say they want to
Which
come through.
is, going down to.
Right.
everything, yeah.
Okay.
So she's accessible that way.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just would
just-
rather see that in the wintertime than having people come up those stairs.
Just take a poll around the office and find out if Tim wants to sit there and buzz people all day, or do we just leave that door open?
Yeah, or you're talking about the people coming in over here, right, not in the front.
Yeah,
Coming
coming
to her
directly into
door.
her office.
Right, because you're semi-handicapped accessible, at least, you got a ramp.
Right.
If people needed to come into the
Right.
back here, they call it the back.
Well, that's the fun.
That's
I know
actually
it's the
the-
front,
I know. Gets me confused.
I know it's the front, but that would, yeah, I don't know. If people are that concerned that somebody's gonna grab into that diamond steel box that they have, then they should come in, and it is their building. It's not our building, it's their building.
Right.
So perhaps we could discuss with the treasurer whether she would change her policy of having people coming to her door and just have them come in the building like they always did
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I
eliminate
think we need to
that.
talk to the treasurer and get, I mean, that's where my brain goes.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, if we're feeling like that's a liability we don't wanna continue,
If she's worried, we could look into something for her half door, but I think
Yeah.
that building needs to be open to the public.
I
Yeah,
agree with Michael,
just don't-
thank you.
I just get concerned with them accessing the outer door, especially with the weather and having everyone come up those stairs
Yeah,
when they
I
don't
agree
need
with
to.
you.
Yeah, I agree with that,
Yeah, that's a safety concern.
It's a safety issue, it's a liability issue.
Put the
ask
sign
her
next
if
to
we
Jim.
can stop that encouragement
In September.
and have people come to the
This
building the
meeting
way
in
they always did.
In
Oh,
August.
oh. Now we took August off.
No comment.
Okay then.
The Grange Scholarship. You have one applicant who comes highly recommended with all the recommendations. The Grange Scholarship, and we have to make a motion to approve it, and it's Brittany Dunkley. She will be attending the University of Kentucky. So, I need a motion to approve.
Well, how much is it for?
I have no idea.
Okay.
How's that Tim's going?
Hmm?
No, I was just saying, Tim's gone, he usually
Yeah.
knows what those are, right?
I think it's fine, the committee voted to do this.
She's the only
Yeah.
person,
She's the only person
and the deadline has gone, is
that,
that?
that she met the deadline.
Wow, it seems like she's it.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and approved. Seconded to approve Whitney. All those in favor, Michael,
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye.
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Whitney is approved, and we will let the treasurer know. Neighborhood Watch,
That'd be me.
that'd be you.
Since our last get-together, I have done a little bit of more research, and I did a lot of kibitzing with Dave, trying to get a handle on what is the best way to initiate this. The cost ends up being about the same, but our thought was that rather than going whole hog and just putting them all on the different map sites that I mapped out, we think it would be better to pick certain points. For example, a good case would be the beginning of Newton Road, the end of Newton Road. That way you're covered both ways. It could be the same thing with Stebbins Road, one way, the other way. It'll cut back on how many signs to start with, and we can get a better feel as we start putting them out. You know, Dave and his crew are on the road all the time, and I'm driving around quite a bit, and we can commiserate back and forth with saying, hey, this would be a good spot for a sign. And we ought to consider putting one here, so that, in other words, what we would have is a small stockpile of signs that initially we're gonna be covering everything, and eventually still maybe, but doing it this way, we feel that there were a couple of angles that we looked at. For example, if you were coming down Pond Road's the best description. Coming down Pond Road, and you have Crestwood Estates. Do you need a sign facing directly, or would it be more beneficial to have the sign on the side, so that this sign is doing double duty? It's doing duty, people coming down Pond Road will see that sign, and it's obvious where it's gonna be for. And at the same time, it will enable us to disperse the signs in such a way that we think will get more eye contact. The signs the signs I had gotten prices for originally were 12 by 18s, and they came up to $15.20 a piece. However, we can go down in size, and we could go down to a 10 by 14 sign, which is somewhat smaller, a little less obtrusive, but here again, we may want two different size signs depending on the location. And I use Pond Road because Pond Road's the main road through town, basically. And if you've got a sign at one end and a sign at the other end, then anything you put in between can be a smaller sign. And again, we discussed what post we would put them on. Would they be on a speed limit post or a street sign post? And they have to be up as high as we can get them. And we understand that once they're there, and they, you put them up, they've got, I would have to count on Dave's expertise on getting the proper attaching devices. And as far as that goes, he and I would get together and decide on the sign. You folks would have to trust our taste in whether we have the creepy looking guy coming along or whether it's the eye or whatnot. But the point being is that they are all reflective, so they stand out in the dark. And the biggest thing in all of my research on this has been that just the fact that the signs are there, it's like, hey, I consider it a little preventative maintenance. Why, right now we all know that Brattleboro's getting worse and worse, and Greenfield's getting worse and worse. And of course, where do these people want to go when they want to find some goodies sitting in somebody's car or in your garage or whatnot? It's going to be here. But by getting a jump on it, and again, I would notify probably via the town Facebook page, hey folks, we're going to be getting together on this afternoon here if you would like to get together. Because Dave and I talked about it. We have neighborhood watch. We do. I mean, let's face it, if I see somebody in my neighborhood and I say, who's that? I don't know. We approach the person. Or if we don't approach the person, get a picture of a car, get a plate number, something like that we can have. Because what you don't want to do, in my opinion, again, this is only an opinion and we all have those, is call the sheriff's department. Because you all know they're covering us just so much. And if you're gonna do a special call, guess what? We're gonna get charged for it. So the thought is, with enough eyes and ears in town and willing to speak up, the important thing is being able to speak up. Because a lot of times you say, well, I saw somebody, there was somebody in Joe Malow's yard, I don't recognize him. Well, is that where it ended? Did you give Joe a call? Did you go over and see that individual? Anybody who lives in a cul-de-sac, I can tell you, it's amazing. You get the cruisers. Cars, they come in, they go around, and then they go out like, what are you doing there? So that's my take on it. Obviously, the signs being the first line of defense, if you will. And I don't think it's a lot of money to spend. As you all know, I volunteered to do it. My good friend Dave here
He's throwing me under the bus.
Throwing under the bus. He has offered his expertise in where things might be or may not be. And I think once they're there, they're pretty much maintenance free for a long time. I mean, eventually they may end up having to be replaced, but I don't see that as being it's a long-term thing. And I don't wanna be the fly in the ointment, but this is one of those deals where it's do it or get off the pot. You know, we can table this, we can put it off forever and ever, but the sooner we start, and again, like I said, this is a slow start. We talked about it, we'll do this and this, and then, after observing, we'll do this and this, and maybe get feedback from you folks. You may be going down the road and say, hey, this could use one here. It's not like we're trying to target any one neighborhood for getting special attention. It's the general coverage of town, and I've only been in town 20-something years, and I can say that since I've been here, I have seen incidents, especially the time when somebody went and took 6 full gas cans out of my barn, and that was back when we had a police department that was, in my opinion, did zero. And whenever you look at any of these law enforcement things, you gotta say, what's the turnaround time? Whereas if you have a neighbor there, the neighbor says, hey, this happened, here's a plate number, I've got information, and then, if you want to send it, I've sent Ian a couple of pictures of vehicles that I found parked down in the Lily Pond parking area. And oddly enough, neither of them had a legit number plate. They were the temporary ones, and they were already expired. So I say, well, Ian, if you're going down there, what are you gonna do? That's not our job. That's what we're paying these guys for. They're on time, the time that they're here. How often do they go down into, for example, that spot? Which my concern is it's gonna become if it hasn't already, become a drug dealing area. So that's it in a nutshell. A side note, there was talk about the kiosk, naming the kiosk. I believe Mike.
That's the next agenda item.
Huh?
That's the next agenda item.
Okay, well, we'll get onto that then when we get there, I guess.
More questions?
So how many signs are you requesting? Do you have a specific request?
Right now, I've got down 20 signs to a cost of $305. And those are the 12 by 18, which is a fairly good size sign. But that being said, Dave and I can look and say, hey, you know what, maybe we can get away with a big one on each end of Pond Road, and then do a couple of smaller ones here and there as we go along. But it's gonna be a work in motion, and I think it's a smart way of doing it, rather than just, my original idea was go bang, put all these signs out, and then the more I thought about it, I says, you know what, you may be jumping the gun here. Why not start slow, and then, if you have some backup signs, that's great. Somebody damages one, right, Dave, you go in, bang, bang, take it out, bang, bang, put another one on.
I have only one concern. I'm all for it. I think this is a good idea, and but let's take your Lily Pond example, and swap those plates out from expired plates to a Connecticut plate or a Massachusetts plate. There's nothing in the town bylaws that prohibits an out-of-towner from visiting Lily Pond.
Absolutely correct.
So I don't want that person's plate being tagged and called to the sheriff. If they're there for 4 hours or 6 hours or all day long, that's not.
No, and you're absolutely correct, but I think the point being here is, the the plate, you know, I don't care where you're from, you have the plate, you have the information. It doesn't say you're gonna use it, but what if one of my cameras, oops, was I supposed to say that? One of my cameras has something on it that shows possible illegal activity. Now I got a plate number and I can, you know, do something about that. But here again, it's not trying to be the hard ass thing. It's just trying to keep tabs on what's going on there. It's been, I think, I don't know about anybody else's observations, I did have to pick up a can, which is a huge difference. I don't know if anybody else has been picking up Carlo Rossi lately, but there does not seem to be quite that much. Plus, a couple of individuals that I have met down there that were fishing, and good people. I met them at town meeting and stuff, and having these people there is another preventative measure, you know. So that's what it is. It's community policing,
Right.
basically, but without the police. That's the best way I can put it.
Okay, thank you.
So I did do my homework on Neighborhood Watch. It's not a town-ran program.
Nope.
It's a community-based thing with the community members.
Mhm.
Once the town puts their hand on it, they're stuck on it. And then they're gonna be, town taxpayers are gonna be expected to pay for and maintain all these the rest of their life. When the program is made to be ran by the people in those neighborhoods,
Where'd
they would
you
maintain
get
it.
your information?
Neighborhood Watch website.
Well, the Neighborhood Watch website will tell you that it is what it is, a Neighborhood Watch website. Once you get PD involved, now you're talking a whole nother ballgame. Once you get PD involved,
I know, but you're talking about something way different than I am. I'm saying you're asking the town to buy signs, and once we buy them and put them up, we own them the rest of their lives now.
yeah, the
But
town.
the program is set up to be the people in that community pay for the sign and put it up, so therefore they own the sign and program.
I don't believe that's the case. That it can work that way if people wanted to do it that way, but my take on it is the people in town, for the amount of money we're talking, it's a minimum. And it would be no different than, okay, I wanna put up, you know, how you can buy those signs for your business that you can put on the town highway or something like that, and that takes a special deal. This is a much more laid-back kind of a thing, and I gotta be honest with you, the people that I don't think are crazy about it, and I haven't found anybody, by the way, but those are the people that are got concerns that, well, maybe I gotta be careful what I'm doing. And I think you understand where I'm going with that.
No, I don't think a sign's gonna change somebody's thought, but
Well, it's not gonna change a local person's thoughts, but that's not what this is for. This is not to change the local person's thoughts. This is to be a warning to people from outside of town who may have ill intent, that will come in and say, these people didn't used to have this, now they got this. Maybe we better be a little careful.
Could I actually back up one of Don's thoughts? Because we did look into this when we were looking at signage for lily ponds and rules. And there are, believe it or not, a couple of published first source research papers
we're
where,
talking about Neighborhood Watch.
no, I understand, where it was found that simply posting signage was a deterrent to misbehavior. And so I would say that signage alone, you know, has been demonstrated to be effective in that way.
And that's my point. That's my point. It's simple.
So Don, you're asking for $305 for these signs? Is that what-
400.
Plus whatever the attachments were, which I would put this in his purview because he knows where to get that kind of stuff. I don't know where to get those things. And the signs, you can get them online. I happened to go online and looked on Amazon Prime. They weren't as expensive. They were $15 $4.20 each for the 12 by 18s. But this may start out, we may say, okay, well, let's get, instead of 20 signs, let's get 10 and start with that. And if people like the way it's coming out, and we seem to see that things are looking good, I don't see, like I said, to me, this is a preemptive strike. In my opinion, it's gonna come. These people are gonna be infiltrating here, looking to cause problems. And at least this is kind of a front gate, if you will, that they'll have to go through before they start risking anything else. And I say this honestly because the law enforcement in this town, since I've been here, I hate to say this, but hasn't really amounted to something in the snow. And that's even with good people who have good intentions, but there's the turnaround time is not there. Whereas, like I said, if I see something, push come to shove, I can get on the phone, or I can contact a neighbor, and it's a deterrent. That's what we're looking for, as a deterrent. It's not a guarantee. It's not going to say it's going to work 100%. But my feeling is nothing ventured, nothing gained, and it's a cheap in to start it out with.
My idea is to start your group, to follow the steps in their website that they recommend, and then do an ARPA request from the town to purchase the signs for you. That way the town doesn't own them.
The town doesn't own.
Do we have to maintain, there's nothing saying we have to maintain these signs. If we
buy
hang
them,
these
we own
signs, I mean, if they fall down, there's nothing saying we have to replace them, right? I mean, we're not obligated to replace them. That could be the end of the program, right then and there.
That's right, and like I said, Mike, I'm not trying to blow this into a big hubbub of a thing. All the legal, the illegal aspects, the liabilities, and so on and so forth. But I think that this select board is in a unique position right now where they can actually step up and say, okay, folks, we're gonna give this a try. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we haven't lost a ton of money. We've lost a little bit of elbow grease on my part and Dave's part. And other than that, I mean, I look at to see how many volunteer people do we have do volunteer stuff in town. I hate to tell you folks, but I've been doing volunteer stuff for years, and volunteerism is a dying thing. I mean, 35 years of volunteering for hunter safety classes. And it's amazing how you get a dedicated group and they're there. But you got a lot of what I call the fly-by-nights. They'll come and they don't like it and they move on.
So Sandy, to make a motion, do we need a specific amount for these signs or how?
You should not to exceed, would be good.
Okay. So I move that we fund the neighborhood watch signs from the ARPA funds, not to exceed $500.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Chair, I think this is a good thing to start. I do take one exception, sir. When we had a full-time police department, perhaps you didn't need them. When I needed them on 2 or 3 different occasions, they were there, they were professional, and I wish they were back. I miss the full-time police department.
I just think the soft start idea is a good idea, and it's cheap insurance, it's cheap money, and I think the town, let's get some feedback from, and there's a few signs, let's get some feedback. And we don't have to continue the program if the feedback
Right.
isn't there.
That's
But
my
for
point.
$500 or less, if Dave's on board,
Yeah.
I think we should.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Jean, did you want to say something? No. Okay. Any more comments?
I just have a question. Has anybody ever had any suspicious goings on in their neighborhood?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and when
And my
the
house
full-time
broke into.
police were here and I called them, they came.
Me too.
So,
Me
People
too.
post on Facebook, I go to that area, I drive there,
Yeah.
for people,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys all got to admit that if nothing else, God forbid Facebook, but the town Facebook page definitely gets the word yapping. You know, somebody's dog's out 2 minutes too late and everybody's gonna know about it. But you gotta imagine, let's multiply that into a situation
Right.
where we have problems. This is all part of the neighbor. We're all watching each other.
So question, because sometimes I feel like I was hearing that the police are not involved and that the citizens would take care of things themselves.
Okay?
I'm not really on board with that
Okay, to
idea.
verify that, the sheriff's department would love to see us start their program. We know where that's gonna go, because it's gonna be money. But the thing that about the police thing is, okay, neighborhood watch, Dave saw somebody go into somebody else's house,
Yeah.
obviously a break-in or something like that, maybe an out-of-state plate or whatnot. Okay, Dave can get on the horn, call the sheriff's department. That would be a circumstance where it would probably be worthwhile. But when it's just somebody snooping around that's not supposed to be there, I mean, he's as bad as me. I walk over and say, hey, you know, what you up to, you know?
I'm not sure I'd encourage that.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
guess,
you know, and that
as far as
scares
your
me.
role as constable, I guess.
Yeah.
Some assurance that you would pass that along to the sheriff's department, I mean, that would be your role
that,
as sheriff. Your role wouldn't be,
that's the thing.
you know, maybe you
I'm
get
the
a
one-
license plate, but you're not approaching these people, you're
Yeah,
saying, hey,
I'm
listen,
very
I've seen this
concerned
suspicious car at the
hearing
same
that.
time, night after night after night.
Yeah.
In
Behavior's
which-
happening.
in which is,
I'm gonna pass along.
you're right, which is kind of like what I did with the numbers, the plates that I took pictures of, and I turned them over to Ian. And of course, when Ian got there, they were gone, and there was no follow-up on whose cars they were, or plates, or stuff like that. So I think it's just a matter, to me, the constable's kind of the middleman. You call me and say, Don, there's somebody snooping around, you know, in my neighborhood. So I go and I go over and check, and oh, it's Joe Malarkey, he's out hunting coon, you know? And I, you know, verify that, so we're not gonna be,
okay.
running up money with the sheriff's department. For a
Still
call.
still not sure I'm
Yeah,
on
we-
board
so
with
I
that
don't know, we're still
idea.
running up money with the sheriff's department, I think.
Yeah.
We have a contract.
We have a
Yeah.
contract, yes,
There's no
but,
extra money.
I would not
when
be
you're,
calling
when
the
they're not
constable.
on their
I
time,
don't
They
get
transfer
that.
you to the Vermont State Police.
No, I think it's a separate issue, the neighborhood watch versus what the constable's role is in my eyes.
Right.
I think these
Yes.
signs are cheap insurance.
Yes,
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
and like I said, the constable thing is always a PR thing. In my book, I've met more people, primarily at Lily Pond, once in a while on Stebbins Road, you know, just talking to them, they're parked there. I went to Lily Pond one time, and there's a silver car parked there. Oh God, I hope she's not watching. So I stopped and says, hey, good afternoon, how you doing? She says, oh, I'm just enjoying nature. She says, she's from the senior housing, she says, I can't smoke there, so she's smoking. And I says, oh, that's fine, you know, that's great, you know, I told her where I was, and she said, oh, good, I'm glad you're keeping an eye out, you know, and whatnot. And as I was leaving, I looked down around her car, and her cigarette butts all over the ground. But, I mean, you know, that's minimal compared to Colorasi bottles and beer cans and spent fireworks and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready to vote on this,
The signs?
on the signs? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Michael? Brandon?
Aye.
Jo-
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Motion carries. Without the vigilantes.
That's just the signs. We're not,
Just the
Yeah.
signs.
we're not
Just the signs.
enforcing the
Right.
committee or the group. I'm not, at any
No.
rate.
No,
This
no.
is,
Let
you
that
got
be
it,
clear.
you got it on, Brandon, you hit it on the nose. It's a
He didn't say
beginning,
where
it's,
that money was coming from in that.
He did.
He said our-
Yeah, Docker.
Okay. Lily Pond Kiosk sign, proposed title. Thought I saw her come in. Oh, there she is.
Hi, I'm gonna have our other commissioner, Sam Corcoran, speak.
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
all right. So I know there's been some discussion back and forth about the naming of the area and the sign, and I think we just also wanted to share that seems like there's a few things that could be named. So the access road itself, for example, and then Lily Pond, the area. And so, we had proposed naming the road after the donor, but maintaining the name of the area as a natural heritage site. Because it already has that classification and distinguishment with the state, so that one keeps us in alignment with a title that does already exist for the area, while still acknowledging the history. And then some things that we discussed could include, for example, putting up on the educational kiosk. I understand there was a plaque created for the donor, so that could be, depending on the size, could be posted on the kiosk, could be posted at the edge of the road. But maintaining the use of the kiosk and the natural area itself for educational and conservation purposes as the focus.
I have a question. Does anybody know where this placard is?
I do,
Do you know about the size of it?
I wanna say it's gonna take that big.
Okay, so it's something that could easily fit on the,
Or if they named the road after the access title,
Well-
right? It could go underneath
I
the.
don't know exactly
I'm
what
not-
it looks like.
So that's what we wanted to propose and come back after there was some initial discussion about how to name the area that we previously suggested.
No, I'm just wondering why we're renaming it at all.
Didn't?
I'm not opposed to it, I
No,
just.
well, I think, that's a good question. I wasn't here for the
I can
kiosk
address that.
conversation. Yeah.
I have procured free of charge a wood artisan who is willing to router out a sign for the kiosk so that when people arrive, they know where they're at.
So that's where I think that all started, was we proposed that. Maybe things got lost in translation between our meeting and your meeting and then back to our meeting. But we were left with an idea that perhaps it would be named the whole area after the donor. And so that's why we wanted to come back and clarify what's being named, where, what are we calling things before, for example, us having any signs made.
I might add to that too. The other thing is, if the placard is, a certain size, we could probably mount it right onto the kiosk in an appropriate way so that people can read about who it was that this property originated from, and at the same time not take away from the purpose of the kiosk, which is basically an educational kiosk. It's somebody on the commission will periodically change and put up, maybe something about turtles or something about weeds or something about fish or something about animals.
In
And,
bloom now.
huh?
I said it's in bloom now,
It's in-
our button bush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buttonbush, yeah. So, it is an educational kiosk, and I think, I'm impressed the fact that Vernon has an actual natural historic
Natural heritage.
national heritage, and this is before we even did anything. The
Yeah.
state already had it that way. And Lily Pond will always be Lily Pond. And then the story about how that property got there will be on the plaque that is already made, which has been sitting around for I don't know how long, but it would be a good time to get it to us so we could actually get it on there. And as long as we get the blessing that we can continue with the wordage, it's too wordy for me. The Lily Pond natural
Heritage
heritage site. And I think it would be good. I'm not a big sign guy, but I hate seeing ugly signs. And with a little bit of work, we now have a new sign at Hatchery Pond.
Okay.
Brand new sign. So, you know, I like seeing, hey, we gotta take pride in the town. Gotta take pride, and it took, what, about a year to get that sign up. And the way I was at a hunter education banquet up in Ludlow, and I cornered the commissioner. And I said, hey, Chris, this, and I had a picture of it on my phone. I says, this is what we have here in Vernon. And I says, in my opinion, it does a severe disservice to the department having something like that hanging there, you know, on a beautiful piece of property that people fish and gets utilized plenty. And funny, what, about 3 weeks later, we got the sign up.
And so I think to bring us back to what we're asking for, is it okay if we have a sign made, we call it the Lily Pond Natural Heritage Site? That's, I guess, the long and short of it. And then to move forward with any additional signage or naming of the road or anything, if there's a way that we can collaborate with the select board, you know, to make whatever their desires are, and let us know.
Why do we wanna rename the road?
Well, that
There
has,
is no name.
there is no name of the road.
You don't know where it is.
Well, you-
911 for
well,
one
and
reason,
also-
it should have a name.
You don't.
That was to suggest an alternative to naming the kiosk after the donor. If that was still felt to be of significant importance to acknowledge the donor, then that was an alternative, could name the road after the individual.
Michael, it's your family. What do you think?
I mean, we have to talk to Dave about the 911 sign, he's the one that have to approve that. I mean, I named my road Sunny after her only brother that died during birth, to continue the family name as well. I don't care, I just like her to be recognized for donating the property.
And we're not saying she shouldn't be.
Yep.
And in fact,
We did pass the motion last meeting, and
right,
now we're back here again.
Well,
because, oh, sorry, go ahead, Don.
I think there's two things, Dave, Mike, rather that. Number one, should that road have an official street sign due to the 911?
That's a Dave question, he knows the regulations.
Yeah, and I don't either. I didn't even think to ask Dave about that, and I don't like making him have to put out more and more shit. I mean, he's busy enough, but I don't know if that's a necessity there or not. But the plaque, which I'm assuming maybe, was it a bronze or a wood or whatever it is, would probably look very nice attached to the kiosk that is there now, which I think that in itself, if somebody comes there and they're looking, they can read all about whoever it was. And we make everybody happy all the way around that way.
I just wanna say, we keep talking about attaching it to something, because we had to get permission, because it's within the 50-foot buffer, we had to get permission from the watershed ecologist, Rebecca Chalmers, to install the kiosk, and she was very specific about where it could be.
Yeah.
That's not to say she wouldn't allow us to put something else there, but we did go through that process, and so we're trying to figure out how to minimize, those requests of her, yeah.
Thank you.
Dan, open to a motion. Although we gave you the motion last time.
Yeah.
Right, so we wanted to ask again, with representing information. And I suppose, it's good to share, of course, choose to name it differently, that's fine. But the Conservation Commission's own efforts and focus will be on conservation-related content, and so we would not be taking a role in that.
Just another point of interest. There's nothing that says that we cannot do, if we need to, like an add-on, if you will, onto the side of the current kiosk to mount this honorary plaque. because I'm a big one on honorary plaques, and I think that they should be in a place of importance and where they can be read easily, and it gives the recognition to the people that have come before us. And so, again, this is something that I would have no problem dealing with.
Jean?
So you have a plaque
The
with this,
family has one somewhere.
and are you willing to have this put on the kiosk, or you
Find
need,
it and see, yeah.
what's that? You can,
I can find out who has it and see if they will, yeah.
So would that, Madam Chair, through the chair, I'm sorry. I am sorry, I am. Would that satisfy the motion that was made at the last meeting? Because I want to make sure we live to that spirit too.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd have to change that motion. Like, not really, because it just says,
No.
we just have to change the word title.
recognize.
I just wanna make it clear that we're not
Yes.
dictating to the select board
You can't.
what
Yes,
the
that-
name of the parcel is.
No.
No, we're not doing that at all, so that's up to you. We just want, because I stated at a previous meeting that we would come to you with any permanent language to be added to the
Right.
sign.
No, we appreciate that too, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. You could just make the motion to, that the project will recognize Marjorie. Yeah. Lord, what is your decision?
I move that the kiosk indicate the name of the area as Lily Pond Natural Heritage Site, with also the addition of recognizing Marjorie Tyler Unitas at the kiosk.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Further
Yes.
discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Motion carries. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Kitchen rehab, Elmhurst broom cabinets and appliances quote. Shelley, you are up.
Okay, so, I went to Home Depot and sat with a representative and started to go over cabinets. To
Like watching
outfit
paint dry.
the kitchen with new cabinets throughout, a range, a microwave, a sink, a faucet, as well as the cabinets for the Elmhurst room. And so this is the quote that I came up with. Originally, I was given a quote, and also the countertops with backslashes for all. I was given a quote by the gentleman who sat with me for an hour and did the measurements and fitted the cabinets where they could go. And but the only problem was that it was a different finish. And then when I went into the room and noticed that there's dark, very, very dark paneling on one of the walls and yellow paint on the other, that white would probably be the only cabinet that would go very well in there. So he said the finish would be a different price if I was to change that. So this is with the white finish and a solid surface countertop. I think they had quoted in the last quote for quartz, which is very pricey. But this is really a good compromise, and it's a really nice countertop. So, so this is the quote that I had pulled together, and that includes the range, the microwave, the sink, the countertops, the backsplash. And there's also a discount with the cabinets when you buy more than 10%. So all in all, with the cabinets, all the appliances, the countertops, the labor still comes under the original quote.
Yep. Okay.
So is the total price the 6,000 or the 3,000?
3,000, that's for the countertops with the backsplashes. Yep, because that was all separate, because it had to be all measured out separately.
Gotcha.
And the contractor will be able to start it in January,
This year, this coming year?
this coming year.
Wow, we don't have to wait for the funds, huh? That's good.
So we have the total project costs are $6,279.53
For the cabinets.
For the
and then
cabinets.
for the cabinets, and then $3,000
Separate from
right for the
countertops.
for the
What about to
countertop.
the labor?
The labor was 3,200 from the contractor that I had got the quote from and we had already previously approved.
So the installation's already paid for.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's still under the price of the original quote that was just for the cabinets and appliances.
Right.
Without labor.
Okay.
It was 18,000 and change.
And this is
Original
ARPA
quote.
money, Madam Chair?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
I move that we use ARPA money to purchase the new kitchen stuff from Home Depot. I don't have a calculator.
Yeah.
The total price of $9,948.33 from Home Depot.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
The motion is carried, ladies. Your cabinets will be
Thank you
open.
very much, Shelley. Thank you very
Thank
much,
for your
Select
support.
Board.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, we need to go to executive session. We need three different ones. First one to be on the custodian.
Why does that have to be?
Because you're gonna be talking something personal about him. When you come out. Okay. You have the card?
No, somebody stole that from me at the last meeting.
Not me, I wasn't here.
Brandon, do you have the card?
No, it wasn't me.
I walked over to you and I read it at the
Is there one on the desk over there?
Over here?
Yeah, did they get moved?
Nancy.
Did they get moved?
Here you
I wouldn't do that. Oh, lucky me. Madam Chair, I move that the board enter executive session in regards to the appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. We're going to executive session at 7:37. We met an executive session at 7:37, came out at 7:40. No action was taken. Doesn't go into motion. Or just let it go.
I don't think we need a
Okay,
motion.
we need a motion on a dog issue.
That's gotta be exec too?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay then. Would this be clear and imminent peril to the public?
Yes,
Okay.
it would be.
Madam Chair, I move we enter an executive session as in regards to a clear and imminent peril to the public safety.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Aye. We are in executive session at 7:42. Okay, we went to executive session at 7:42, came out at 7:53, no action was taken. We need to set the tax rate, but before we do that, we need to make the motion to approve the certificate of no appeal or suit pending on the grand list.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
The motion carries. I love it, we're not asking for an extension. I think this is the first year.
There was an
I
extension.
remember.
There was an
And then,
extension. It's supposed to be June.
we need to set the tax rate. So, the tax rate that is proposed, the municipal tax rate is 0.6098, an increase of 0.0026. The local agreement is 0.0021, which is the same. The homestead tax rate is 1.4518, an increase of 0.0442. The non-residential tax rate is 1.4283, an increase of 0.0240, for a total homestead tax rate of 2.0637 and a total non-residential tax rate of 2.0402. That's approximately $46.80 more per $100,000 of assessed value from last year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Sandy, give me a mini lesson on how this is calculated.
The listers
Okay.
calculate it, they take the whole grand list, which
Yep.
is the assessment of all the houses
Yep,
and businesses, and they divide everything up.
okay.
And then-
These two are set by the state.
Yeah.
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 The state has their little handbook.
So, this is fine, it's great, but for a homeowner, I'm looking at this and my tax bill's gonna be $150 more than it was last year, whatever the number is. But I don't know what the tax rate is. I want, what is the rate per thousand when you add all this up?
You'd have to, it's 2 point,
So it's $20.52, $14.21, $6.10. So the tax rate's $40 a thousand?
it is.
No,
That's
I'm not sure how
really,
you figured
yeah,
that out.
no,
that can't be.
no, that's not right.
No,
$40 a thousand?
no, it's gotta be about half of that.
Yeah,
You know, I'm figuring I'm just doing it in my head.
I wish Carol had stayed, we could have asked her.
I can call her and ask her, that's just,
Call
that's
Carol,
simple, I
and
just
then
didn't
let us
know.
know,
Huh?
because I always ask them, I always forget.
Yeah.
Call Carol and let us
Yeah,
know.
because it's the tax rate really doesn't matter, it's the tax burden, you know, because you get out of, every house in town could be valued at $1.2 million, and the tax rate would be $1.08, you know, or you're $100,000 and it's $7 or whatever the case may be, so it's the tax burden, not the tax rate
I
that really
think
you
the
gotta look
fact
at.
that they tell you how much more per
Yeah.
100,000 assessed value, it's easier to figure out what your taxes are gonna go.
Yeah, it's 46 cents a thousand, so.
So have we confused you yet?
Not terribly, no.
For failing. Okay, I'll entertain a motion
For the,
to approve this. We have to set the tax rate. You make the motion,
Guess it's so moved.
or we haven't voted yet.
Oh, aye. Aye.
Brenda?
That's what we're looking
Can I
for.
abstain?
Yes, you can. Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
aye.
I'm an aye. The motion carries.
You approved the budget, so you know.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Budget
trick.
based on the
Yeah.
tax rate.
Well, if you didn't let everything carry over, we wouldn't have all of this problem.
Our next meeting is August 1st.
Rabbit. First day of the month. Rabbit.
Okay. Boy, I'm sorry, Brian.
So is he. That's a thing in Germany. It's a
Really?
German thing, yeah. It's the first of the month,
You
rabbit.
have to name for a town clerk's offices in Germany?
No,
Rat house.
as it should
And
be.
that's where the torture chamber used to be underneath it.
The Burgermeister used to take care of them there, okay?
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn before they get too crazy.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's non-debatable. All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
I'm an aye. We are out of here.
That's what happens when you go over an hour.
I know.
Sure, we all start to lose
8
our
o'clock.
cookies.